What is going on, everybody? This is Deadly, and welcome back to the channel for some more Ski for Tarkov news. Today, 2 new weapons were just added to the game out of the blue for the Victory Day celebrations, the PPSH-41 and the M1911. Now, both these weapons we expected to be coming in the next patch, but it was a surprise to see them released tonight. So, with that being said, I'm going to be talking a little bit about both the weapons, my initial thoughts and impressions, and of course, the ammunition and recommendations for these weapons and my opinions on them. So, that being said, let's get started with the PPSH-41, which is available at level 2 Prap War, and you can buy 3 of these at a time for 25,379 rubles. At the moment, there is no mission that is required to be completed to unlock this weapon, so as long as you have Prap War level 2, you are completely good to go. There is one catch though. The drum mags are currently going for 3.5 million rubles for the memes right now because people are just buying them out and reselling. It's just like, I don't know, trust me, it will die down in a couple days. So if you want to try out some of the drum mags, I'm sure you're only going to have to wait a couple days before the prices get back down to normal. Now, of course, in Tarkov, most of the weapons are only as good as the rounds that they fire. So the PPSH shoots 7.62 by 25, and there's no new rounds added for this weapon in the game. So all the TT rounds are functioning with this weapon. So that means PST GZH is my recommendation for you if you seriously want to use this weapon. It has 50 damage and 24 pen. That means you're going to be able to kill people through their class 3 face shields and do the most damage through armor. There is other ways too that you can use like L or NPC if you're going to go for leg meta, but honestly, in my opinion, leg meta is not nearly as effective as trying to get headshots in Tarkov, so I would recommend going and using those rounds. I will mention though, while testing the PPSH, I did notice that there was some weird things happening either with the hit registration or just the rounds not seeming to do as much damage and penetration as I thought they should, especially whenever you're going and using a TT. Now that you have these big magazine capacities, you'd think you'd be shredding people like fairly easily, but the scavengers were taking multiple shots, like lots of shots. So I don't know if that's a bug or if it's just something that I was experiencing, but it's just something to keep in mind with my initial impressions of the PPSH. But I will be making a like PvP oriented video with like clips and footage of my first fights with the gun over the next couple of days and give you a better understanding on how this stacks up against players. But as it stands, with the ammunition being really good, the price point being awesome, only available at level 2 Prap War, this thing is awesome. Like, this is going to be a really powerful gun post wipe, and I'm really excited to see it being used. Like 25 pen with this type of weaponry, like, it is going to be really good. People are going to use this SMG if it's working properly. I promise you. There's obviously not really any modifications for it, but that's completely okay. So I think this is going to be a post-wipe monster, and we're going to be seeing a lot of this SMG in the future. It is right up there with like a Klin and a MP5 or something like that using AP 6.3 or the Makarov with PMM. So with the round being 24 pen, it is definitely up there and compatible with the other SMGs. So if you are a fan of those types of ammunitions and you're comfortable in using them and killing really geared players, I don't think you're going to have much of an issue killing people with the SMG. So that's my overall first impressions of the gun, and I have a lot more to say about the 1911 because in my opinion, out of these 2 weapons, I am far more excited for the 1911 because the ammunition that was released with it is actually really interesting and very powerful. So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about that. So the 1911 available at Peacekeeper level 2, no quests are required to do it, but it is a more expensive pistol. It's 131 USD, which is more expensive than a Beretta and a P226, but for good reason. The rounds that it fires, the 45 ACP round, does 72 damage and 19 pen, which is really, really good for a default pistol round. There's also a RIP ammunition available from mechanic level 4, which does 127 damage and 3 pen. But in my opinion, again, I am not a leg meta player, so I'm not as interested in that as the FMJ version of this round. 72 damage is pretty wild, and 19 pen makes it so It can go through class 3 face shields, maybe not all the time, but it has a good enough percentage where 1 or 2 shots are going to probably go through. Obviously, it's not enough. Like, I would prefer it to be like 23 or 24 pen, but beggars cannot be choosers because the 72 damage output is really strong. This is like the ultimate scab farming budget pistol running weapon. Like, it's only got an 8-round magazine capacity, a 7-round magazine capacity, and then 1 in the chamber, but still, like, the 72 damage is extremely high. So putting this, or just doing pistol runs with this and killing scavengers, is really, really good. Like, just to test out the weapon against scavs, I did a hard mode horde on factory with the 1911 and cleared out 68 scavengers, no problem. 1 tapping, 2 tapping these guys, and then going up against specifically class 3 helmets. Now, there was times where I 1-clicked a class 3 helmet, and there was times where it took 2 shots. So yeah, it's gonna probably take 1 to 3 shots to go through class 3 material. And obviously, as the armor classes go up, it's gonna be way more difficult to kill people like class 4 helmets, class 5 helmets, class 5 equipment, class 6 equipment. It's just not going to cut it, but there's not a whole lot of pistols in Escape for Tarkov that can do that anyway. Like the 5.7 and the SR1MP are specialty pistols, and they kind of act in different ways than some of the others that are in the game. So as it stands, there is definitely a purpose and a place for the 1911 in Tarkov, primarily with its super high damage output and reasonable pen levels for the first rounds that get added. And of course, Nikita said on the podcasts, there will be armor-piercing rounds and a larger variety of rounds that come out for the 1911 and the other 45 ACP weaponry that are going to be coming to Tarkov very, very, very soon. So there's lots to look forward to here with these 2 weapons, especially the 1911 and the 45 ACP rounds. Now, as it stands, there are currently no modifications for the 1911, but there will be some added in the future. So no suppressed 1911s just yet. There's definitely places for these weapons in the game, especially since we're so close to the next wipe for Tarkov. The PPSH is like perfectly priced in my opinion, and I don't think they need to move it up or down. 25k is spot on. And the rounds, like the 7.62x25 rounds, are really good for the early metagame. So I really think there's going to be a lot of people running this gun frequently. Like, you know how a lot of people run like the PP19 Vityaz? A lot of those guys, I imagine, are going to consider using the PPSH instead or in rotation with the Vityaz because of its price point, its similarities, and its availability, and the ammunition variety too. So lots of use here. So overall, very excited and pretty happy with these 2 new additions to the game, especially considering it's a surprise. So of course, expect more videos on both of these weapons coming to my YouTube channel very soon, because I like to make videos showcasing PvP highlights, and obviously I don't have enough time to do that right now. I got to gather some of those clips. I got to get into some of those fights. I'm going to be doing that on my Twitch channel over the next couple of days, and then showing you guys the highlights and the outcomes, and then giving my true opinion. But obviously, in the current game, Class 6 slick body armor, Class 4, Class 5 helmets are very much in right now. We are just before a wipe. So the performance of these 2 weapons in comparison to how it's going to be in like a month from now, drastically different. But regardless, I'm going to do my best to get some cool moments for you guys and share them with you here. If you're new, I recommend subscribing for more Escape for Tarkov videos. I'll catch you guys during the live streams. And as always, I am eager to hear what you guys have to say about these 2 new additions in the comment section below.